the reason why I'm glad you that last statement that you made is so huge, and I kind of want to talk about just how not necessarily the Tory Lanez situation or whether he is guilty or not guilty, but the fact that they tried to cancel him. He dropped the video, man. He actually, man, I was sitting there watching, man. He had 6 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Like from 6 million, it started climbing like 500,000 like every minute. right? It up to 11 million in only a day on Twitter for 11 million. So I think with cancel culture can't exist unless the people say it exists.
Right.
And I think the power should be back in the people. And I think as an independent artist, it forces you to get down and to get to know your audience.
Right.
You know, allow your audience, man, to come into your life, so to speak, to touch you, so to speak.
Right.
Because, you know, Tory's fans prove you ain't gonna cancel him. You know, and Meg dropped the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, it got 2 million, but it didn't blow up. It didn't go fast like Tory's. So I say that to say, you know, the power is shifting, and so, you know. But go ahead, Dan. I know you had another one. That was it.
Yeah. No. I got another one, but this one also speaks to artist independence. There's a digital distribution firm called Amuse that took a survey, and they found that while independent artists increased their output during the COVID lockdown, direct to fan opportunities they feel like are still being underutilized. And so what does that mean? That means that, yeah, a lot of independent artists, because they had no other alternative, were producing a lot more music and a lot more content at home. But they're still going through CD Baby. They're still going through DistroKid. They're still going through Ditto and TuneCore. But they're not really doing any direct to fan, merch or merchandise or whatever. Right. And so I put this question out there. Why do you think there's such a hesitation in independent artists going completely independent? Bypassing all digital platforms and just saying, hey, if you rock with me, you want this music, you want this T-shirt, this is the only place you can get it.
Right.
You want to go first? Because I want to go second. Go ahead and go first.
Okay, yeah. So I would just say, yeah, man, that's another good question. I think that, again, going back to like we were saying earlier, conditioning, because we've been so taught to rely on the system. So as long as there is those opportunities out there, we're going to feel like, hey, we need to use those. And especially, I think even if somebody starts off like that and then they start to get a bigger platform, because a lot of these guys, I'm like, yo, like if you signed a 1 album, 2 album deal, like the popularity that you got, you good. Like you've built a fan base to where like your fan base ain't gonna turn on you because you're like, yo, man, my new album's out and it ain't with Warner Brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they support you. But I think what happens is, you get used to, you get comfortable. It's almost like, even like if somebody's staying in your house where it's like, hey, you like, yo, you got 3 months, to get your stuff together. And then they get comfortable. And now it's like, you're so used to that. You don't want to take that risk to be like, hey, man, now it's not as important to you because you're comfortable. You're eating. You may not even be making millions of dollars, but now it's like, do I really want to just have it to where it's just my website and you buy my music through there instead of having all these other outlets? I think there's pressure in that area because there are some people that's like, look, I'm a Spotify. I've had people myself that's like, look, man, I love your music, man, but I'm Spotify, man. If you get it on Spotify, I'll bump it. And it's like, bro, if you like my music, you like my music, you know what I'm saying? But I think there's pressure from fans too, because, you have the Apple, you have Tidal, and, you have people that have their own turf. And they're like, look, man, I'll bump it, but I'm only going to bump it on this platform. Or I'm only going to bump it on that platform. So I think you have that as well.
Go ahead, Rico, but I got a comment to that.
Well, go ahead and make your comment to that, man.
Yeah, because only thing I'm going to say about that is going back to history, going back to us being history buffs. Right. 1865, the end of slavery. Mm-hmm. You had a whole generation of slaves that became sharecroppers. Right. Why? Because they went back to the plantation.
New slavery.
Yeah. They wanted to be free, but they didn't really want to be free.
Right. Hey, now hold on, man. No, you ain't supposed to be in my head. What?
Look, you want to be free, but you really don't want to be free. Yeah, I saw what.
Well, I wasn't trying to be the bad guy in this one, so
hey, it's the truth. I saw what.
Ron took the high road. I was the bad guy.
No, because I know it's convenient and I know what people are saying, but at the end of the day, if you are really, really about your bag, go back to, like you said, the 90s, go back to the mid 90s, the late 90s. Remember when Prince set up the MPG music store? Mm-hmm. You couldn't get his stuff anywhere but from there, the stuff that he owned the masters to. Mm-hmm. You know, and he proved even, and this was pre iTunes, mm-hmm. that digital music could work. Right. You know, so that's just my little comment.
I want to use his name too.
I want to add something else I'll add a little caveat to that. It takes work being an independent artist. And I believe that a lot of independent artists just are not up for the work. Right. Right. You know, it's almost like, you know, when you want to go work a 9 to 5, most people choose a 9 to 5 because it's easy to get up mm-hmm. and go into a job mm-hmm. and do what this person tell you to do and get a check. Right. Right. Versus you have to condition yourself. I love that word, condition. Mm-hmm. You have to condition yourself, prepare yourself, sharpen your skill set to go out and get money, right? And although you may only get a little bit to start with, but it may come over time. Right. So I think a large part of that is being lazy, being fearful and lazy. Mm-hmm. A lot of independent artists don't really want to work. They want it given to them. And if somebody give you something, you don't have a right. If they're putting that money on you, mm-hmm. you have very little negotiation power. Like now, that's just my 2 cents mm-hmm. on that. You know, now our time is running out. But